Good afternoon. My name is Derek Brooks. I'm the chairman of the board of the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here today to welcome you all to Discover FoCo's final National Travel and Tourism Week event. This week we celebrated the importance of tourism and its impact on the community. We talked about how tourism is economic development and how impactful it is to our residents. It's recognized its resilience, industry partners, and celebrated the experience that makes Forsyth County a great place to discover adventure at every altitude. I'd like to introduce our presenting sponsor, Julie Brennan, with My Forsyth Magazine, who will serve as our moderator for this afternoon's panel. Julie, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Derek, and welcome everyone. As he stated, I'm Julie Brennan, the proud publisher of My Forsyth Magazine, and it's my honor to be here with you and sponsor this fantastic event. Hopefully you've had a wonderful time learning a little bit more about our phenomenal county and its city. And why don't we go ahead and get started with our discussion. Today we're going to be discussing a facet that perhaps to so many people, it's like, what, there's tourism in Forsyth County? Well, yes, there is, and we're going to talk about it today. So please join me in welcoming our panel, Forsyth County Board Chairman Alfred John, City of Cumming Mayor Troy Brumbalow. We're pleased to welcome the Georgia Association of Convention and Visitors Bureau Executive Director, J. Markwalter. Our very own Forsyth County Chamber Board member and co-owner of Cherry Street at Vickery at Halcyon and in Chattanooga, Miss Elisa Tanner Wall. General Manager to Holiday Inn, Amanda Anderson. And the Senior General Manager to Halcyon, David Silver. Welcome. All right, let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about tourism and Tourism Week, which is what we have been celebrating. So Jay, perhaps you can tell us a little bit about this week.
Well, thank you very much. And first of all, I want to thank everybody for having me. I'm grateful for the invitation and glad to be up here with you, coming from Augusta today. But first, I want to thank all of the elected officials that are here. It is quite refreshing to see the community partnership in the room and at the table up here. And once upon a time, I was the tourism director of Dahlonega, Georgia. So kind of back home up here in the mountains with you. Also want to give a shout out, and I know I'm not answering your question yet.
That's okay.
To Joni, because Joni is one of our partners and represents you well at the economic development table statewide in Georgia. I've spent time with Joni in both Cartersville and Columbus, Georgia recently. So she is out there representing you well and want to give a shout out to the great job that she does. We are celebrating this week. Happy National Travel and Tourism Week. It is U.S. Travel Association's recognition of the travel industry and our communities coming together, not only in the state of Georgia, but across the whole country about the importance of travel for our vibrant communities. It's spotlighting the critical role that all of the many layers of our industry, hospitality, the tourism industry is much more than just leisure tourism travel, as you know. And I think we'll be talking about that a little bit more. But the theme, of course, this year being the future of travel, because we have certainly been through a crisis like we have never experienced, and coming out of the pandemic together with a couple different layers of messaging that it's about the industry's role in fostering our vibrant communities, but also about the devastating crisis that we have come out of together as some secondary messaging. We represent over 100 destination organizations across Georgia, like Discover FoCo, and we work with industry partners at all levels to support Georgia's industry, a $69 billion industry pre-pandemic in 2019, supporting 484,000 jobs. And we're not quite back to that level yet, but we are supporting those partners as we elevate our industry at the local level, the state level, and even with our congressional leaders in Washington for the state of Georgia. We are the stewards of the traveler's lodging tax. So our destination partners are reinvesting that traveler's tax in keeping that promotional engine running to individually at your local level and then collectively at the state, make that $69 billion impact on the state. So we are celebrating this week with all sorts of festivities, proclamations, groundbreakings of new projects, gatherings just like this today. And we're proud to be a part of it. And again, thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. And speaking of proclamations, we do have our county manager and our mayor, and they're going to be telling us a little bit about the way the city and the county are involved in the travel and tourism. So perhaps we can start with you, Commissioner? No, you don't want me to? I did. Oh my gosh, fire the moderator. It's the County Commission Chair, Alfred John. Yes, sir. Since you read a wonderful proclamation this week about travel and tourism, can you tell us a little bit more about it and how the county is involved in such industry?
So, thank you. So, it's exciting to see tourism take root. Often I've gone to other areas and I see our Forsyth County tags in Roswell, Alpharetta, and there's a little bit of envy there, but we are now starting to compete. Halcyon has been a great partner in drawing people to Forsyth County. It's become a destination. The city of Cumming, Mayor Brumbalow is working very hard to make the city of Cumming a destination as well. So you can see that the city, the county, as well as our business partners are all focused on making Forsyth County a destination.
You sounded just like a county commission chair. Thank you. Sorry about that. Mayor Brumbalow, what can you tell us?
So in the city, we have a lot smaller footprint. We're only about 7 square miles. But one of the things that brings 250,000 people a year is our fair. And we do see a lot of that when you walk through the parking lot. You'll see counties from all over that actually come to our fair. We have Mary Alice Park on Lake Lanier that draws people. But then our newest thing is going to be our city center that's open this summer. It's a lot different than most of the city centers around. Ours has a big focus on nature. It's got a 25-acre park with boardwalks and trails, miniature golf that's unlike anything in the country. We've got an amphitheater that can seat up to about 8,000 people. We don't have enough parking for that, so no Garth Brooks this year. But that will be bringing in people from all over, just like people here go to those city centers outside the county. We'll be bringing those other people here.
Cool. Thank you, Mayor. Now, of course, all of this could not happen if we didn't have a place to eat and drink. So perhaps Elisa can tell us a little bit about how your industry is part of our tourism organization.
Well, being a brewery and a brew pub, we really have become a destination. We've hosted plenty of events in the county, being our annual Spring Beer Fest, and it's amazing to see how many people are traveling from out of state to come into our county. We've had one location in Vickery Village, and we expanded into Halcyon, which is a no-brainer for us. We really are honored to be a part of this community and to provide that unique experience and those products that really, really make people want to travel and want to, have that experience and bring others here. So thank you.
Thank you. Now, years and years ago, I remember meeting Amanda. Amanda came over as the general manager of one of our hotels, which we didn't have before. So it was refreshing not only to have hotels in the area, but have a female in charge. So Amanda, tell us about what you guys get involved in.
Well, we get involved in a lot of things, and that's also thanks to the chamber. We opened our property in 2008, and this is the chamber here of any others that I've been involved in at other properties, has by far exceeded any expectations I would have had as far as helping us get involved in the community and giving us opportunities, feedback, and that sort of thing right off the bat.
Thank you. And David, how about Halcyon?
Well, Halcyon, we opened in August 2019. We love being in this community. This community is really what has supported us and kept us going. We think there's a direct correlation between our investing in the community and into the tourism programs, which drives our success. We spend a lot of money on our social media and our marketing events. In tracking our social media and our followers, we found that we're not just attracting the immediate customer in Forsyth County. We're attracting people from the city of Atlanta. They're passing Buckhead, they're passing Avalon, and they're coming to Forsyth County to spend their day, spend their time, spend their money at Halcyon and in this county. And we just love that. We love being a destination.
And we love that you do. Now, one of the things, if you remember when we started our conversation, is about C-19 and the effects it had in our county and overall in the whole world for that matter. Resilience comes to mind. So let's talk a little bit about resilience and how your industry, your place of business was able to learn from it, surpass it, and survive it. Anybody want to start? Amanda, maybe you?
Well, it was definitely interesting. I've been in the industry since 97, and I've never seen anything like it, even with other situations. It was, you didn't know if you were going to stay open initially. You immediately, we had to cut back on staff. We didn't know if people were even going to be traveling. It all just depended on, whether or not we became essential. And when we became essential, it was just making sure that we were providing anything that we could possibly provide on the hospitality and to anybody else who was essential. And so we had, we had place to stay for traveling nurses who were still traveling, or just tired nurses, tired people, anybody that was in the medical field. Our local law enforcement, we had a relationship with them. If they needed anything, it was a trying time. And the fact that we got through it, even though we were hearing hotels everywhere that were closing temporarily, we got through it and we've gotten past it, and everything's, honestly, when it comes to occupancy, things are booming again. So just knowing that there was that time that we weren't sure, and we really come out of it even stronger.
I do recall conversations over the years when C-19 was up and running, if you will. One of the things that stood out was the fact that you guys were so generous with healthcare and our law enforcement. You welcomed them with open arms, and you actually made them feel that they could survive all of this because of what you did. So thanks for that. How about Alisa? You even started a new brew pub.
Oh, that was a challenge in itself. Well, we were barely 6 months opening at Halcyon, and never did my brother, business partner, and I imagine that was going to happen right out of the chute. But we had to keep moving. I mean, there was no stopping. We saw a lot of employees and more friends and colleagues sitting at home and enjoying the time. But we, as the industry, we were essential. People wanted food and they wanted beer. And so we had to get creative as possible. Every day was a new challenge. I delivered to over 25 neighborhoods in the community, and had about 15 to 30 meals that I was dropping off at family homes. And it was a great way for us to kind of get to know people that maybe didn't know who we were. But I was very blessed for that. We did a bunch of different creative family packs, Mother's Day and Easter packs. So couldn't come in and enjoy, but at least you could still have something special from us at home. I'm just really blessed for my team that, you know, it was hard. We had to cut back to about 10 staff members. I was mainly management and leadership, and they were in there every day with me, washing dishes, packaging food, getting by. And we also then provided family meals to our staff members, and they had an opportunity to come in and get to go food. We provided toilet paper to those around us that couldn't get toilet paper. We luckily, you know, had a bunch stocked up and didn't have the traffic flow inside that we were able to do that. But we just had to keep moving, and we had to be there for our community, and provided a lot of to-go beer, more than we've ever seen. Even now, we still sold a lot of to-go beer at that time. So
You remember the toilet paper when at Tanner's over at Vickery Village, and someone said, you know what? People are suffering. They don't have toilet paper. So we're going to give them toilet paper with the to-go boxes. I'm like, you are? But you know what is reality? There were
Yep.
challenges, and you guys met the challenges. David, how about Halcyon? People were staying home, and how did you guys manage?
Yeah, it was a wild ride for us. But having come from kind of the corporate structure in my industry, shopping centers, I knew what they would look like as far as don't do this, don't do this, don't do this when you come in. Well, we always wanted to be an inviting place. We wanted to make sure we did it in a safe and healthy and secure manner. We immediately partnered with our business owners who my team and I, we knew personally and professionally anyway. But it was amazing to see them pivot and create custom to go and carry out menus, as Elisa touched on. We did virtual shopping online to keep our boutiques having sales dollars coming in. We saw an influx of the use of the Big Creek Greenway, which connects to Halcyon. So we observed that and kind of capitalized on that as well, doing chalk your walk, being able to write little chalk drawings and things on the trail. We pivoted and made sure that we did events that were still engaging, but people felt comfortable coming. We had complimentary face masks and wipes and things like that. So visitors had an option to come in and feel like they could engage or not engage. So it was really our investment in the community, I think, just really paid off. And I think that's really when you see the success of investing in your communities during tough times. And when we were in tough times, we saw record sales, believe it or not, with some of our tenants during that time. We opened to new tenants during that time. So we were very thankful, and we learned a lot. I think we all learned a lot. And I'm very proud of that time.
Chairman John, what about the county when things were closing up and people are still wanting to come to the parks and have tournaments? What do you do?
If you go back to March of 2020, thank you. If you go back to March of 2020, you can imagine the fear that came into people's hearts that now all of a sudden you can't go out. You know, offices sent people back home to work from home. And so you had a population that was stuck at home, you know, either stuck with children or stuck with all the added responsibilities. And Forsyth County did the right thing, which is very quickly we realized that we needed to help get public safety in place. And by that, I mean their health. So we partnered with the Department of Health, with Northside Hospital, and within about 24 hours, we stood up our own registration website, and Linear Tech also partnered with us. And very quickly, we were dispensing vaccines to hundreds, if not thousands of people, you know, on a weekly basis. So that gave people that sense of freedom to go out and explore. Now, you can't drive to work. You can't go anywhere. You have no freedom. So what do? You're looking for parks to be open. And we opened up our parks very quickly. You're looking for trails. We have 25 parks. Almost all of them have some place where you can go out and walk. So you can imagine families were able to get out and not go very far and walk with their children or walk their dogs. We had our greenway, you know, 11 to 12 miles of open space where people could walk. But you have to combine that with their health and their safety. And we were able to get that in place. We're able to open the parks in time. And I think people enjoyed the experience despite the fear that they had.
How about you, Mayor?
Well, so for us, most of our recreation was indoors, so that was a little tougher until we could comply with the governor's guidelines. And it was tough. That was the first year the fair had not happened. You know, but then we rebounded the very next year and blew away every record that we had ever had. So everybody's kind of back to normal.
Now, Jay, can you share with us how Forsyth County's tourism industry fared and compared to other counties in the state through the C-19 pandemic?
Well, and just hearing the panel now, you absolutely did the right things. And it's about the togetherness and leadership without question, but also kudos to the creativity from the hospitality industry and working also, I have to say, with our local destination partners that had to look inward. We preached all the time before the pandemic, being a tourist in your own town. And then everybody had to get very creative and quickly. We've seen crises that have impacted the whole state, but we had never seen a situation where certain regions were having record 17 counties up here in Northeast Georgia, all the way down to the coast of Georgia and Tybee Island and the Golden Isles having record tourism sales and impact, with more of the metro areas and folks reliant on business travel in very bad shape. So we had not seen anything like that before. And I can tell you that in that crisis, in the middle of a pandemic, and to share some numbers with you, and these are from Explore Georgia, which is the tourism division of the Georgia Department of Economic Development. And these numbers come from Tourism Economics, which is an Oxford economics company. They work directly with that team. You were second in your 17 counties, ranked second in food and beverage spending during that time. You were second in recreation, and I think that speaks to the parks, the trails, all there is to offer here, and a leader in that at $21.9 million, with no one in a close third place in that. Third in overall visitor spending at $139.7 million in visitor spending in the middle of a pandemic in 2020. So kudos to all of that leadership, because you were only down overall 10% growth year over year, 2019 to 2020. Many of the state's destinations were anywhere from 25% to Fulton County being at 46% negative growth during that time. The entire state of Georgia reported 35% in visitor spending and 33% in total economic impact. 33% loss in the direct, indirect, our supply chains, and then the induced spending of your own locals and residents getting out and reinvesting that money in the community. So again, 10% is something to be really proud of. So great leadership, obviously.
Now, Chairman John, I believe you have some data to share with us as well.
I do. I already mentioned about. I'm going to keep you. It is. I already talked about the number of parks that we have in the trail space. Even the active parks have trails, which allow so many people to come out here. But interestingly, some of the numbers that resonated with me were during that period, we employed about 1,400 people in the tourism industry. Where most other places were shutting down, we were actually saying, hey, we're open for business. Over $9 million in state and local tax revenues. That helps us keep the parks and recreation spaces open and vibrant. So you can see that when many other places were pulling back, we were opening up and making it a great place for families to come.
Anyone else want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I do just want to chime in, and I promise this isn't a plug, but the chamber really, I was so impressed with seeing how proactive they were in trying to support the community and the businesses. Between the Facebook support your local restaurant groups, between the Takeout Tuesday and the different bingo game and everything. It really, really, truly will be something that I'll always remember from you guys, and I appreciate that. And the community engagement in that was very impressive. So thank you.
I also add, we talk about all of us, but our residents.
Absolutely.
They knew that they had to come out and support these restaurants and these other businesses, and it was a determined effort by all of our residents to participate in the economy and keep this going. Did some businesses fail? Sure, but for the most part, our businesses were doing well, they were thriving, and that is to the great credit of our residents.
Absolutely. And things have changed, obviously. We tweaked accordingly, and now, a couple of years have passed. And of course, some places worked out, some didn't. However, it seems that our current occupancy numbers are showing a growth that tells a little bit of a different story. What is your business looking like right now, today, and perhaps in a couple of years, if you want to talk about that as well? We're going to start with David.
Sure. At Halcyon, business has been amazing. Occupancy has been amazing. We continue to see year over year amazing growth. Continue to see record numbers from some of our business owners, especially the restaurants. We have 2 new buildings, an office building, 4 stories that's already 100% leased. We completed that at the very end of last year. And we've got a hotel on the horizon, which will bring a whole new group of tourists and guests to the property. And then a phase 3 of the property under continued planning and hopefully breaking ground soon. So business at Halcyon coming into the county, we look great.
How about for your industry, Amanda? What have you noticed?
It's definitely coming back. We're again, same thing. We obviously like to see higher rates again, 2019 rates again. But occupancy wise, we're right back where we were. We stay full weekdays, weekends. We've got tournaments left and right. There's not a slow period for us that we even see in the future right now. So it's been really great. We're very fortunate. We're doing everything as far as anything that we did prior to COVID. We were doing again, like full breakfast, everything. I know that's still an issue in some places. So sometimes the supplies, getting them, that sort of thing, that can be tough. But we do everything we can, even with some of the local stores. If we need to order stuff directly from them, just to make sure that we've got enough soap for all the guest rooms, anything like that, we're doing. But we certainly can't complain when it comes to occupancy. Like they're traveling, everybody's traveling.
What have you noticed, Mayor?
Well, so like with our city center, it's brand new. We're 93.6% committed with only 2 spaces left, and we're talking to people on those 2 right now. So I fully expect us to be 100% occupied when we open. And all those are mom and pop businesses. There are no chains. We didn't want that. Nothing wrong with those, but we wanted that authentic, one of a kind of stuff. And so the fact that that business community feels that good to make that leap into a brand new project is very special.
Now, Chairman, I read somewhere where our parks are starting to get booked again, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
This will be the one time I need to listen to the button. Yeah, actually, our parks are booked to capacity. Almost every tennis court, baseball field, the bookings are very strong. It's interesting because over the last week, I've been getting emails from residents complaining about the lack of space. So that's a good problem to have, right? So we'd have to look at how do we create more places for people to spend time. So we host, I believe, about 70+ tournaments a year, and that's pretty impressive for smaller counties such as ours.
Excellent. Now we're going to shift a little bit and talk about other aspects of tourism: engagement, community, and advocacy. All of them play a pivotal role in tourism. So my question to you guys is this: how do we get the community engaged in the aspects of tourism, particularly internal tourism? And how do you promote it locally into neighboring communities? Anyone chime in so I don't have to call your name?
I'll jump in.
You beat me to it.
Okay.
Just push the button.
So the Chamber of Commerce is a terrific partner. I looked at the Discover FoCo website this past week. I was really impressed. We're going to fill that up with more and more content, but even our communications team. They've done an excellent job of promoting a lot of events and activities, and they've really, really stepped up their game. It's not just simple press release anymore. It's multimedia, and I'm very impressed by them. That said, I can speak for myself and my fellow commissioners that we are very focused on bringing tourism. So if there are any event places that are looking to place themselves in Forsyth County, we go out of our way. We even try to find a way to expedite some of their statuses, some of their permitting processes. And you'll see within the next, day or two, there'll be some really great announcements about things that are coming to Forsyth County. I'm looking forward to being a part of that.
In today's world, we found really social media to be one of our best friends. We use influencers as well to promote our business. Our events and promote our businesses, and our outreach has been just amazing. We partnered with several organizations and charities in the area. Ladies Night Out is a big one, and it draws people from Fulton County and so on. But it's a give back to local charities within Forsyth County. So getting the community engaged with that tourism piece, with funds that go right back into the counties and charities that we love, has been amazingly responsive. So that's been one of our success stories at Halcyon.
I saw Lisa, so I know you're ready.
Well, I think he took the words right out of my mouth. Social media, I really has gone very far for us as well. We have a brand new marketing team since last summer that I'm so blessed for, and it's following trends. It's actually looking at analytics, but that's not the only way. We also just try to build that unique experience and those events that other breweries may not provide, and really get to know our clientele that's coming in, our regulars. I mean, we wouldn't be here without y'all, and it's them that are proud to bring family that come in from out of town into our spot. Having, birthday celebrations and anniversary celebrations and any of those sorts, and really providing that unique experience, and the word of mouth has done really well for us.
Mayor? I'm leaving you to the.
I can't add to what we're doing all those same things. So
It's refreshing, though. You can tell there's a camaraderie and everyone's learning from one another. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel sometimes, just learn from each other. I do know that Jay has some interesting ideas to share with us.
Well, I just, on the messaging part, the engagement, and you mentioned sports, again, more than the tourism language, it is about the visitor from all those different market segments, medical tourism, sports tourism, all of it. And it's really the power of the partnership. So your peer partners, Joni and her peers, regionalism, and you mentioned the chamber. I should have given a shout out to James. I've known James many years back, and the great job they're doing. But political partnerships, promotional partnerships, it's we are in the business of importing temporary taxpayers. That's what the visitor economy is, and so. Aligning with a recent movement by Destinations International is about the community shared value. And so to echo everybody at this table, while we, yes, are trying to bring cash registers ringing and then loyal, repeat, heads and beds, that capital T tourism is really about the resident benefiting from all the secondary benefits. That many tentacles of tourism, the beneficiary is really the local resident because of the spending that's happening, the improvements, and not just the development, but then the maintenance of those tourism assets that has to happen. So it's not just about being economic development ready, but it's about being economic development friendly as well. So.
And speaking to that,
If I
I
could just
know,
add one
yes,
more
Commissioner
thing.
John.
And I might have missed this before, but agritourism has actually become a big part of Forsyth County. Recently, the Board of Commissioners passed an agritourism initiative, and now all of a sudden you're seeing farmers who are concerned about losing their land being able to maintain it, to keep it. We have Stony Jay's Farm and Winery. We have multiple farms and meadows for weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, more and more young people are using those types of venues for things, events in their lives. Even something as simple as just getting a photo shoot at a barn or at a sunflower patch. Those are all things. Those are all things that keep our economy vibrant and get people coming here.
Now, Mayor, you can speak a little bit more about the projects you have coming up to encourage tourism in the city, particularly with the fairgrounds.
Yeah, so we have quite a few things that we'll be announcing, but we're adding on to the fairgrounds now and things with music venues. We have somebody wanting to do autocross racing in our parking lot, but those things bring people from all over. So we let the police do it for free. That's where they train to do their pit maneuvers to take out speeders. So why not do autocross? But it's things like that we're working on. And we've also we've applied for a resort at Mary Alice Park with the Corps of Engineers, which is a long-term process, but hopefully we'll be able to get that over the finish line.
So we keep talking about being advocates for tourism, and each one of us is an advocate for tourism in Forsyth County, and in my case, in Puerto Rico too, where I'm from. How do you see us being part of that advocacy for tourism for our county? Anyone? Yeah.
Well, again, it's the various levels of partnership, and Discover FoCo is already involved in the Southeast Tourism Society, which is we are the state of Georgia. They are 13 states in Washington, D.C. The U.S. Travel Association, the main force behind National Travel and Tourism Week, being the larger advocacy voice. But regionally, visitors do not see city and county lines. And we want them here, and we want them spending their money in this community. But if we can keep them a little bit longer and hub and spoke, and when I was in Lumpkin County in Dahlonega, we worked with Dawsonville and Dawson County and Roswell, and we even had to put a package together of mansions, moonshine, and gold mines just to kind of get them on up further up 400. And so it's about the lifting everyone in the region as well as keeping them here. And Joni does a great job with her team with all of the many industry partners. And that's what it takes to stay at that table as well and use their resources, because we all have different missions and different amounts of resources, and just being present.
Absolutely. Anyone else? No? Okay, cool. One of the things you mentioned earlier was medical tourism, which a lot of people don't think about the healthcare and it'd be a tourist attraction. So perhaps you can speak about that, Commissioner John?
Northside Hospital, Northside Forsyth. You don't think of it much, but she's good. Northside Hospital. We don't think of it much as besides just being just a local hospital. But what people don't know is it's one of the top hospitals for arthritis and total joint replacement. And that brings people not just from local areas, but from far. There are people who travel. So when people travel, sometimes they stay here for a week, 2, 3 weeks, going through that rehab process. What do we have for them here, right? Hotels, venues that they can go dine in, venues that they can go spend their time. So those are all things that medical tourism will boost.
Are there other counties in the area, Jay, that are doing this?
So medical tourism is certainly an ongoing conversation that we have in the industry. Augusta, for example, has several layers. So they may have a cycling event that's a big sports attraction as a fundraiser for the cancer center, for example. It's certainly a partnership where there may be even a public art campus in all the medical facilities, or an outlet for visitor materials. It is a little bit of that dark side of tourism where you can't really say, we hope to see you soon. And that is, I mean, I don't mean for that to be a joke. We want to enhance and welcome the families that make the unfortunate visit. And so Augusta is working on what are the benefits for families that have an extended stay, sadly to be there. And then Macon Cares is a program that Macon is doing. And to touch on exactly what there is tourism tied to seeking the best physicians. And there are studies, and you might have the best spinal physicians or the best, depending on the diagnosis and research. So it's something that can be a part of tourism strategy for sure. Macon and Augusta doing some good things, and excited that you're asking about that for Northside.
Thanks. Now, the growth of the tourism industry is an important topic to reflect upon, particularly if you are in the business of tourism. What does the future of travel look like for Forsyth County? How do you see that? Anyone? David?
Well, I think the future of travel is truly where am I going and what am I going to do when I'm there? And if we're providing that setting and that experience and making it a great experience, then that repeat travel will come back.
Amanda?
Honestly, for too many years, I feel like I was always asked, like, why coming? Like, I would get that all the time. Like, why are your rates so high? It's just Cumming, Georgia. And I was always like, okay. Because I've always felt like we did have a lot to offer anyway with the Parks and Recs, especially. And now with everything else, the continuous growth with City Center, Halcyon, the additional things that are being built in the future, that sort of thing. That question doesn't make sense to me anymore. Like, I'm like, we've got so much to offer that why not Cumming, Georgia? Why not Forsyth County? Thank you. And you spoke a little bit about new projects coming along. And of course, everyone knows about City Center. We're excited to see it happening. Hotel properties. We recently read about Passport Springs, the largest spa in the U.S., and Project Home Run and several others. Perhaps, Commissioner, you can let us know anything new going on? 5 minutes.
Okay. No, Passport Springs, you would have seen it in the news recently. It was interesting because their attorney brought the client or the applicant to us, and we were on a Zoom call and we were discussing it. And as we were having a conversation, about half an hour into it, I said, well, how much land do you truly need? And then I said, let me direct you to something else. Because part of it was thinking through what they needed if people started coming, which is hotels. And I identified a better site where there were 2 hotels already in place and a potential 3rd hotel coming up. So immediately they were attracted to that, and they knew that they had a partner in the Board of Commissioners to move this forward. So that was one. For the last 4 months, the Chamber and I have been working on what she referred to as Project Home Run. It'll be a 60-acre privately run sports training facility. There'll be 9 baseball fields, about 20 or 22 pickleball courts, both indoor and outdoor, tournament size, 125,000 square foot indoor facility, which will have basketball courts, volleyball courts, sports training, and physical fitness. They're even talking about doing physical therapy. So imagine, one, taking away the pressure from our parks in terms of the demand for space, but second, also giving young people an opportunity to come and train, develop. But 3, sports tourism. We can conduct tournaments here, right? Regional tournaments are going to be very easy to conduct in Forsyth County now. We don't have to travel to Rome or Dalton or Clarksville. We can do it right here. It's the best place to do that.
Cool. Congrats. Mayor, how do you envision bringing guests from outside our county as well as our internal tourism to the areas that you have to offer?
Well, for us, I mean, I know we keep saying city center, city center, city center, but we're a very small city. So I just really think when it opens, it will be a game changer for the city. It has so much to offer. You know, we're adding a new brewery. We couldn't get Cherry Street away from Halcyon, so we do have a new brewery coming in. We have a distillery with a speakeasy, and so those are unique things that people look for.
I am not a golfer, but I know the mayor is not talking about it, but I'm going to ask you to talk about that really cool golf area that you have. It's not putt-putt. I was told not to say that, but I did.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about that.
So in the middle of the park, when you're out there playing, you're hearing frogs, you're hearing birds. It's like you're on a real course, and it's modeled after famous holes from around the world, and also signature holes from courses within the county. We even have one from the Lanier Golf Course that's not there anymore, and we have the granite marker that was there for 50 years. So it's really neat. It's fun for kids, but it's challenging for good golfers. So there are actually some professional putting tours that pay $50,000 to the winner of their U.S. Open. They want to come and have that here because there's no other course like it in America.
I'm changing my business then. I'm going to learn golf. Seriously. How about Jay? I know you're one of your jobs, you have many, is to promote the state, promote its counties. How do you promote us? How do you promote Forsyth County?
So first, let me say that we work with our partners at Explore Georgia, the marketing arm, the state's destination marketing organization in Atlanta. As we support Joni and team to do their job with the vast network, what we call our tourism family, in giving the chamber here the tools, without question, Discover FoCo, that brand reinforcement is really performing well already, as was mentioned, that y'all are seeing it even locally. Promoting the economic development side of tourism is that in traditional business recruitment, it is no longer just about building sites, incentive, land. James knows this well. It is now about the quality of place and promoting the values and the assets that are here. Those companies want to see where they're bringing their families, the fun things to do when they relocate or open a new business here. So it's about tourism-based economic development. And you have a lot of first, best, only. I've heard today the largest, unlike anything in the country. So those are the things that we expand on. And anytime you have first, best, only, any, unlike any other, is a key to marketing. So.
You'll be promoting us a lot then. Thank you. Just saying. Okay. I would like to give everyone a little bit of time to talk a little bit again about the future of travel as you see it, particularly as it applies to your industry. Everyone has to answer this question. So please, let's start with David. The future of travel in our area.
Well, for us, as I mentioned earlier, we're developing new phases. You know, I feel like we're at a new chapter where we've seen a lot of success and growth from our business owners and from the property and within the county, to where we're kind of revisiting maybe what the original plans were. We're looking at what the latest and greatest is to stay relevant, stay on top of latest business trends. We're even looking at traveling patterns. We're noticing a lot more EV vehicles coming into the property. So we're looking at our infrastructure and looking, really scrubbing everything to make sure that we continue to be the best that we can possibly be.
Amanda?
We know that it's going to continue to grow. We know more hotels are going to come into the area. I've always been huge on welcoming other hotels, as far as making sure that I have a good working relationship with those other hotels, management, staff, all of that. And so like we look forward to other hotels coming into the area. We know it's a necessity in the grand scheme of things with everything coming in. So our biggest thing is obviously just making sure that we still continue to offer our guests and even our local residents the medical industry, everybody, anything that we have to offer, and that, you know, we're doing our best to offer it to them, you know, in the best way possible. Elisa?
It's actually really exciting to see some more breweries come into the county. Really, really making not just ourselves a destination, but making the county a destination with the continued growth. It's really wonderful to see. We also are looking forward to challenging ourselves and really challenging ourselves in the different events that we're providing. We have something really fun in the works right now that we're working on for the fall. So we're putting our heart and soul into that, and just excited to keep seeing growth, and we see it every day on property. So,
Chairman?
We will not be a pass-through. We will be the destination, and it starts by doing these little things. I don't think people understand how impactful the July 4th parade is with all the steam engine parade. I mean, if you Google it, you'll see how, you know, how many people are curious about it. But all these little pieces come together. And I'll be very candid with you. Right now, it's just a 50-50 proposition, but I'm working on bringing a sports arena to the county. And
Detail.
I didn't even tell you that. But imagine, you know, a sports arena for an expansion team or even, you know, concerts. Think big, you know, go big. And, you know, if you succeed, good. If not, try something else. So we keep trying to innovate what tourism looks like in Forsyth County, and we'll continue to achieve.
Jay?
Just to piggyback on those comments, you know, tourism also doesn't just happen. So I want to thank again, as I did in these two gentlemen here in their mayor and chair roles, about the, and I know we have other council members in the audience, but that marketing engine is hugely important, which ties back to the advocacy question that we talked about earlier in protecting the lodging tax. As more and more tourism comes into the county and the cities, if that tax, which will look like a lot more funds, if it is misallocated or redirected, then we can't keep that marketing engine going. As long as that happens, the future of travel, that reminder of what there is to do in the county, Discover FoCo is, it looks very bright. It's about this diversification we've heard on the assets. You gained a lot of new customers that may have not even been here when they were getting away from COVID-19 during the pandemic, and it's keeping them coming back. It is obviously brand new cash being spent in the community is the purest form of economic development. And hopefully that they become long-term tourists and invest in real estate and become a part of your community. So the visitor wants to enjoy, and the visitor thinks that what you have locally is cool stuff to come and experience. So as long as you keep doing that, the future is great for Discover FoCo.
Mayor?
So Alfred touched on it, and I've said it many times that Cumming had became a pass-through and not a destination. And I've said that many, many times. And so what our vision was, not only with the city center, is we have, I think, 4 mixed-use developments that all have unique, kind of like a Vickery or Halcyon, those type environments. 2 of them have bed and breakfasts. They all have unique things to draw. So it really wasn't that the city center was just it. It was, you had all these different pockets to bring people to and make it a destination.
The spirit of collaboration is pretty remarkable in this county. You may not hear it a lot, but it's there. You just have to find it sometimes, or perhaps give it a shot. There's a lot to be done in this county. There's a lot of places to visit. And I'm blessed that I was allowed to come in today and have a nice time with these wonderful people that really believe in our county. If you don't believe in your county, what good is it? So perhaps we can all be encouraged to be a part of tourism, internal tourism, external tourism, medical tourism, You name it. We've got turtle tourism. There's some turtles out there. I heard a minute ago. Anyway, thank you for the opportunity to be here. If you have any questions, I have no idea how much time we have left. Oh, we can 2 minutes, 3? Oh, you guys have questions? Bring them on. They're ready for you. No? Anybody? I'll have more questions. Okay, never mind. No one has questions. Okay, this is your opportunity to tell me in 30 seconds why your place of business is the best. It's not on the script, I know.
It's not on the script. We're one of the first stops coming into the county, and we pride ourselves with that. We feel like we have a big responsibility with that. So we want to offer the best experience we can, the best mix we can, and not just one time, every time you come in. And I will say, 4 years ago when I started, I was a tourist. But 4 years ago, I found out right away that I wanted to stay here. And I hope to hear more stories like that.
Thank you. Amanda?
I live here, I play here, I work here. I think that's what makes us the best.
Absolutely. Elisa?
I live here as well, work here, play here, everything. It's great. But my team and myself, we put our heart and soul into our business. And I promise you that it's very rare to find a team of mine that care just as much as I do and act as owners.
Commissioner?
We might be the wealthiest county in Georgia. We might be the healthiest county in Georgia. We might be the safest county in Georgia. We might have the best school district in Georgia. But between the lake, the topography, the greenery, we are the most beautiful county in Georgia.
You're here. Jay, take that one to the folks
Yeah,
over
that's a
there.
tough, I would have said and instead of the but, right? But, we have a $69 billion responsibility. When I mentioned that is the impact that travel and tourism makes on this state, and we're getting back there. We're almost back there from the 2019 levels. We get to work with the Georgia Hotel and Lodging Association at this state level, the Georgia Restaurant Association, to support Discover FoCo and all of the partners of yours across the state. So it is a wonderfully fun challenge, but we are a tourism family and we are a very fun industry. And I get to be with people like you and support the tourism industry.
And we do appreciate you coming over because I know you've been busy this week and you've traveled all the way to beautiful, outstanding Forsyth County. So thank you.
Thank
Come
you.
back.
Thank you for having me.
Mayor?
So I've lived here my whole life and I've never left because it's the best place to live or visit in the world, in my opinion. And I know that's, I'm a little biased there, but I'm a local home builder. And when I started in 1993, we had 45,000 people. There's 200,000 people in the last 30 years that have said, yep, that's a piece of heaven. So that's where I want to be.
Well, I'll say one thing as the sponsor of the event, there would be no reason for me to have a magazine if I did not believe in Forsyth County, if I did not believe in the city and what we have to offer to the residents. I don't live in this county. I love the county though. I work here, I play here. I spend probably more time here than where I live over there in, the other sweet county of Cherokee. It's those collaborations, those partnerships that make a difference. Whether you're partnering with another business, with a nonprofit organization, with a chamber, just believe in what you're doing and partner with someone. We all learn from one another. And let's continue to provide Jay with great information so he continues to tell people how fantastic Forsyth County is. Thank you again for having me, and I'm going to let Derek wrap it up for us.
What an amazing conversation. Like Mayor Brumbalow said, this is a rare room. There's at least 3 of us who have always lived in this county that are over 16 years old. So that I'm finding that happens more and more. Who's from here? And these little kids are raising their hand like, oh, we've become a place for people to be start. But for those of us who have always lived here, this is not a conversation that could have happened 20 years ago. Somebody said it. Why coming? Why Forsyth? There was no reason to come here. So this is amazing to know how things started and to see where we're at and all these people wanting to come and participate in your businesses and things. Thank all of you panelists for joining us today and sharing your valued insight with us. We appreciate all your support and local hospitality from the tourism industry. And we especially thank y'all for being champions of tourism for Forsyth County. We'd like to give a big thank you to Julie, wherever there she is, Julie and My Forsyth Magazine, for sponsoring the event today and for guiding the panel through the discussion. So on behalf of Discover FoCo and Forsyth County Chamber, we thank all of you who are able to join us here in the room and online. Have a great day and happy National Travel and Tourism Week. Yes, sir.